Hello, everybody there in YouTube world. This is Doug Bates, and it's part 5 because of various snafus of Are You Consciously Unconscious? That's a big topic that I did in this. I thought I'd make a 10-minute video out of, and it turned out that there was a lot of data to cover that really brings in the nuances on this subject. And in the process, my battery shut down from heat or from other things, and eventually I had to make now a 5-part video series to cover the subject. So this is going to be, I anticipate 10, 15 minutes is what I anticipate, to cover up the lost section video that I did not get to cover, which is after part 2 of the video. So it's part 2, and then at 15:30 it cut out. And I thought I jumped to a follow-up on that, and it turns out there was some data loss that I didn't know about. So I'm going to recover that. What I was talking about in the first video called part 2. So again, part 2 of Are You Consciously Unconscious? It's very important. That important stuff is going to be, I covered the neurotransmitters as a part remedy to Are You Consciously Unconscious? What's going on with the neurotransmitters, the GABA, the dopamine, the norepinephrine, things like that. And I mentioned we can get data on that. So that's in part 2. Then I covered into chakras, and I went to chakras and the thyroid and the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and of course I covered a whole bunch in the kidney adrenal. Also the pelvic floor, and just above it were the self chakras in that orange zone. And of course we're all dealing with the air pathways in that lung and that heart section. Those are all really, really relevant. Anything that can get stuck, anywhere you get stuck is a big problem if you don't also have game in the other areas. I made a great video that's called part 3 of part 2. Part 3 of part 2. And that one covers the keys of how to look at that. It makes it very, very relevant. So you can look at that video. It's excellent. It's 18:30 long, excellent content for at least 15 minutes out of that, in my opinion. And superb content in that middle 10 minutes. Next thing I covered at the end of that second video, again, the second video is the one I'm dealing with now to follow up on, is the gut microbiome. I talked about supplements and gut microbiome being a key area to hit because so much serotonin and dopamine is coming from the gut and giving you edge, giving you game, giving you the ability to get engaged and stay healthy and have the proper cravings and drives and connections to the roots, to your ground game, all the way to the crown chakra that you must have working or your consciousness is crap. So if you're fluoridated, your consciousness is crap, no offense. There's no way without a pineal gland you can have full consciousness. If you're fluoridated and calcified, you're in trouble. If you're using too many meds, you're in trouble. If you can't always escape the pot, I use a little bit, okay, sometimes deal with the stress, because escaping all the time doesn't make your brain grow and makes you more sensitive to anxiety, because the body upgrades the sensitivity when you use pot all the time to shut down. Pot shuts down anxiety, right? So what the body does is it upgrades your anxiety awareness to compensate for using pot, which makes it then more addictive, because the more you use pot, the more your anxiety centers get sensitized to try and feel anything at all. Therefore making you more sensitive as a super compensation for your pot dose. So it'll trap you eventually. So if you don't quit in 5 or 10 years, depending on how much you use it, you'll either dumb down your centers or make them more sensitive and you can't cope. So watch the pot. No alcohol. Watch the caffeine. Don't do too much adenosine suppressors on the brain. Look up adenosine and caffeine. Get the right amount of everything via the supplement. Back to the gut microbiome, I said, where you can find those answers on my page. Excellent articles at Better Results Personal Training on Facebook. And I have huge write-ups on betterresultspersonaltraining.com. And of course, I'm with Ageless Fitness Institute on Facebook. And Ageless Personal Training is going to be a website built in 2 weeks. And I have Organic Vegan Trainer. Yes, I'm vegan. Don't run out the door because or you're clearly triggered, and that's indication of your consciously unconscious decision to run away from information, which is going to trap you every time you hear something you don't like and you run away from it. So you have to sift through everything, and you might discover in time that, wow, you might check out more plant-based eating and fiber and the benefits of fiber. And any carnist who's worth their game knows the benefits of fiber. They're twice as fat. I was a carnist. Anybody who's vegan, probably, most people spend a lot of time. Only 3% of vegans probably grew up being vegan. Most transitioned for various reasons. But anyway, back into the subject. What happened at the end of that 15-minute, 30 part 2 video? What happened that makes this video necessary? I was going into discussion of microbiome, and then boom, I mentioned mental illness. I said it was basically mental illness. Mental illness is very common in our world. 70% of people are taking some kind of medication, and about 1/3 are on some kind of mental support, cognitive support for emotion. It's emotional support meds. That's a huge amount of people on some kind of thing somewhere during that year if they're using something. And that's not even counting the non-drug uses that we count as pot and alcohol or other escapisms. It's a form of drug we're doing to simply get away. Even exercise is a source of managing your stress. We'll talk about in a second. That's where I wanted to get to for the key, is how is exercise part of that key? That is one of your biggest players on how to manage your unconsciousness. That's massive so you can become more conscious. That's what I specialize in. Go to the Chakra Guru page, on Facebook for that. It'll leave your head spinning if you're not used to that stuff. It's only for the true deep divers who want to go to the Chakra Guru. Otherwise, just go to Better Results Personal Training and look at Mind, Body, Spirit, Gut, Microbiome page. I didn't even finish writing it because people can't even finish the first 2/3 of the subject, and it goes on for like 40 pages, and I simply stopped writing it because I realized they're going to have to get individual one-on-one answers on the nutrition anyhow, and if you can go to any page on that stuff. So there is tremendous information out there. If you ever stop being able to learn, that's the end of the game for you. You must continue to be able to learn. If you can't continue to be able to learn, you will falter in the world of staying present, staying here, having your presence be built, augmented, fully expressed, delivered properly, enjoyed while you're delivering it, felt viscerally, cognitively, ground game, feeling the fullness of your potential. If you have stopped learning, you have already begun the failure process. I assume everybody here watching is not stopped learning, or they wouldn't be on the video at this point. So congrats to those, in a sense, who are this far along. If you're not mocking me and you're truly learning, that's wisdom. You might mock 1 or 2 points. That's normal, that's critical thinking. I'm not saying you can't mock 1 or 2 points. But when you can't look at the gem within, you're failing. So, back to the video. I was talking about, are you mentally ill? We are all under stress to the point where we can barely manage mental wellness. That's an issue. That's why so many people come to me, because they are literally struggling with, where do they start to find answers? Why are they aging? Why aren't they de-aging if they want to de-age? Why aren't they losing weight? Why aren't they gaining muscle mass? They don't know where to turn. And I guarantee you, since I got 51,000 one-on-one client hours in, one-on-one client hours, and many of them in a private one-on-one studio, so I can say anything I want, they can say anything they want. It is a carte blanche in here. You come in. We have real conversations. It is a private studio. I'm not in a gym where people bite their tongues and don't want to say anything. No, we hash it out here really solid, really direct communication. It is authentic. So that's what makes relationships grow, is authentic communication. Going back into the issue of stress, going back into the issue of, are we mentally ill? Is our mental game working? Are we able to learn? Are we able to grow? Are we able to facilitate wellness and recompose ourselves versus decompose? Are we just hacking our way like a Dave Asprey? Hack, hack, hack. I mean, he's a hack because he's not looking at the fullness of the opportunity. He's already dogmatically decided in 6 months, for instance, that veganism didn't work for him, therefore it can't work for anybody. And he goes on, veganism can never work for anybody because he's decided, like he's king. That's a consciously unconscious person, or a really stupid person who's so left brain dominant they cannot see or feel or sense the rest of reality. If he's taking steroids, and he was and is at the age of 45, he's failing. I'm turning 60 next year in 2025. I'm not failing to have good hormones. I'm not injecting my nyeh down here like he has. He's admitted in text. He admitted in text in an interview. Why? It's not for stem cells, because stem cells travel from anywhere you inject them. It's for some other purpose, and he had to cover his ass, so to speak, or cover his blabbery little mouth, because he has flow. He's flowing. He's tripping all the time. He takes so much stuff, won't say, that he's probably tripping. Now, I'm not verifying that, so no one can say, oh, Doug said he's tripping. Tripping is a mind trip. I'm not saying he's tripping on a drug. He's tripping on something. And you can trip on your own consciousness. You can trip over your own consciousness. He's really good at that. And people who follow him are tripping over their consciousness thinking, Dave Asprey's the hero. Dave Asprey's the hero. And they all videotape him. And I've been there at the conferences where they do that. And they're literally fawning over a man who himself doesn't look good. I talked to him basically one-on-one. He wanted to run from me. And nobody wanted to ask him a critical question. They wanted to tell us what you think. I said, well, what about this? What about that? And that's where it gets troublesome, because a real authentic dialogue where you challenge him, his shit falls apart fast. I'll have deep reasons for my stuff, and then I can go back and forth. That's what a debate looks like. People don't debate him. They're terrified to. He goes on, he's like a politician. He goes on where everybody's got the softball questions. He's going to be loved and appreciated for what he is. And the Dave Asprey, I tell you what, Brian Johnson is a more authentic game from the standpoint. He's just going at it, not as much of a hack. He's more of an investigator, more of a scientist, looking at all variables as that he can find. He looks at many more variables. Dave Asprey will say a 5-minute workout 3 days a week. 5 minutes, 3 days a week is all you need. Anything more can be overtraining. I'm going to keep covering this subject because it's useful. 5-minute workout 3 days a week is all you need to get fit. Anything more could be overtraining. That's insanity. I won't talk about why if you can't figure it out. That's for other videos. Also, the amount of things that come up in the brain of Dave Asprey are really extreme. So we won't go into all that. But I'm going to go into then, how are you managing your game enough to be a lifelong learner and not be dogmatic? Are you willing to listen to the individuality? N of one. I have a video called N of one. Are you an N of one person? Means, are you one person with biological and biochemical individuality, different DNA, and your own soma, your own cognition, your own ancestral history? Therefore, you need one set of answers that works for you. You cannot follow my lead when I come into, that's what I did, you do it. That's ridiculous. You can't find an answer online. You can find ideas online. It's not an answer, because the answer you use that day might not work tomorrow. The answer you use for a decade might not work a decade from now. The answer you use to get out of the poverty might not be the answer long term. And I mean physical poverty, intellectual poverty, mental poverty, spiritual poverty, any kind of poverty besides financial. These are the real issues in life. If you can't manage stress, you will be in trouble. So when we're looking at how are we moving forward, we have to go, what are the things that make us conscious and get us stuck to become dogmatic, and purposely so, willfully so. If you use your will to become dogmatic, that's going to be an issue. Now there might be a purpose for it. You got to stand your ground against something. That can be okay, but look out what you lean your ladder against on that wall. You climb the top of that wall, you go, oh, here's what I got to. There's nothing over there. So when you hold your ground for something and you're willful, like a 2-year-old, that's not very smart. When you've got real consciousness and real awareness, and you hold your ground enough to get your point across if it can be heard, or to look after yourself, because it's a good thing, that's good. And that takes real cerebral and conscious function at a high level. And that's why I mentioned neurotransmitters. That's why I was mentioning microbiome. That's why I was mentioning chakras. So I could mention Kundalini. The name of my actual business is not Better Results Pro Training, not ageless physical fitness, not ageless personal training, not organic vegan trainer. The name of my business is Kundalini Energy. I named that in 2012. Before that, it was Life Force Connection. Then I decided not to do that because people couldn't even connect to the idea. I'm like, if you're not connected to the source, you are not going very far. If you are not your own source at some level also, you're not doing well with the energy you're given. Yes, there's a source around you. There's also a source in you, and you are yourself an aspect of source, a microcosm of that source. You should be able to generate some force from your body. I talk about that with my clients. How to get your own individual Vimada, if you will, your Atma. I'll say Vimada in this case, functioning fully. And if you can't do that, and these are words you might not know, but you can look them up. It's okay, I have to find everything. And you can move that game forward, then you can begin to form true, fasten, recomposition, be the author, be the admiral, the admirable one, the admiral of your life, the captain of your, not destiny, the captain of your choices, and hopefully a director in your destiny. When you're a director and producer, that's a really good. Be a director and producer. Don't look at this Hollywood crap. It's a waste of your time unless you get ideas from it. Okay, back into stress. Back into the concept of stress. What's going on, and why would I say stress can create mental illness? First of all, what's on your plate? What do you put on your plate on a regular basis? If I mentioned in one video, last video, from 10 to 14 minutes, if you are still carrying when you come into the gym, and I mentioned the video after that, if you get out of the car and only half your instrument comes with you, if you leave half your piano in the car, half your stuff in the car, sometimes you should leave in the car, perhaps, right? Others if you take in the gym with you. But if you come into the gym and you have not done inventory of what's in your soma, what's in your head, what are you burdened with, or what have you placed on your plate for that day or that week or even that month, and you're trying to get everything done, that's a lot to filter through. But you obviously have plans, and that's normal and healthy to have plans. It's good to have an agenda and to have a self-concept that works for you and to have ideas that work for you and moving forward. When you put things on your plate that don't belong, that's going to hold you back. It's like hormesis. I have a nice discussion of hormesis on some of my pages coming up. And I don't like the term too much. That's eustress. Eustress and distress. Hans Selye. And this whole idea of hormesis is only from the 1930s and into the 1940s, when one guy used it in a thesis paper and a dissertation kind of thing. And it suddenly is get reinvented. Why? Because the doctors get to use this term, and somehow now hormesis and hormetic is this great new concept that's going to save you all because they know how to do things that no one else ever did, because these are doctors. Well, clearly that concept existed way back in ancient times. It just means productive stress, productive stimulus. So I'll say you have stimuli in your life that we perceive as stress. The stronger your instrument, the more the stress only becomes stimuli. It's more information. Oh, this guy has to sue me. That's information. Okay. Oh, this guy has to outperform me in a bodybuilding show or in a bench press. That's information. How is it stress? Is it stressful or is it information? It's information. What if that lawsuit teaches me that I can countersue him and then he can lose, right? So that's information. When I use it as information, I'm not bothered so much. You have to learn to have the strength to take things as information, not just stress. And when you see the data come at you that looks like stress, decide how can I see as information and how can I manage it so it becomes manageable and doesn't pop fuses in the body. The body's a giant fuse box with at least 7 different chakras. And there's tiny chakras all around the body. And those dominant chakras, those dominant nerve plexi as described by chiropractors or ancient Egyptian times or Hindu religions or whatever one can describe them as. Again, nerve plexi are fine for Western culture. Dermatomes is what the chiropractors call them. They exist in terms of, again, the hypothalamus pituitary, the thyroid, we can say again, we talked about the heart, the yellow zone, kidney adrenal, the orange zone, the sexual chakra, sometimes called the identity self chakra, and then of course the red zone, the grounding zone, the root chakra. Those areas have to be healthy to deal with any stress. If any one of those is out, which is what I fix, you are not going to go far as an athlete. You are not going to go far as a human being. You are not going to go as far as you could, and you will not DH properly. And even the vagus nerve that comes out of both sides of the neck, 10th cranial nerve, will not be able to do much if it connects to a weak zone. If I'm the pianist, then my vagus nerve is the pianist playing the piano, and some of the keys are stuck, and down here I have a bad key nerve. If my vagus nerve connects to it, all it's going to get is panic back. If I get an angry heart, it's going to get that knowledge back. If a weak pelvic floor, it's going to get the knowledge of a weak pelvic floor back. I want to make sure everything's strong, upgraded, fully fortified, and online when I come to do something. Come to really engage the public. I want to make sure I'm online. That's why half my videos are terrifying. Bounce around. I've got agility in my videos. I've got a ground game, I've got an aerial game. I can see things in the trenches and I can see things in a pipe dream. And I can feel everything in between. If I'm missing some of that, I am missing the chance to communicate on a particular dimensional channel that you might connect to. And if you're an individual in here coming into my gym, I would know who you are, in which of those zones to speak to you on, in which of those zones to challenge or upgrade, because that's how you'll get better, not by leaving you strong on, oh, he's a guy's a mental game, I'll talk to him only there. The guy's a mental game, he better get a pelvic floor, he better get some other chakras, because they ain't going to help him to live his whole game, the whole world in a mental game. I'm talking, you get a 20-year-old who walk into the mental game, and they shut off their whole body. That's very common these days. Or everybody come in with a great lower body, but no conscious upstairs. Because they might have, I've got clients come in, they've worked with paints and solvents and glues, and their brain has got, like Dr. Dan Neumann says, holes in the brain. They cannot gain consciousness. If you have dementia, if you have brain damage, you cannot gain conscious unless the brain compensates and grows a new area to compensate. Many times it can't because they have nutrition. If your omega-3s are out, say goodnight to your brain. And I do not recommend eating animal omega-3s because you get all the heavy metals with it, all the pesticides, all the cholesterol that's already damaged. Your liver should make its own cholesterol because then you know it's clean. How is that cholesterol clean coming at you from an animal? It's not. It's cholesterol. It's not clean cholesterol. It's already been heated, cooked, and used. And the body knows it. The liver has to sort through that stuff to make sense out of it and go back. And I would rather my liver make all my cholesterol. So my testosterone went up when I went fully vegan. Despite the fact that I'm a 6-time state bodybuilding champion in natural bodybuilding, a 5-time Mr. Wisconsin, again, the top show in Madison, Ford Sheridan show, And I did that as a vegetarian, as a lacto-vegetarian. So when I went fully vegan, I jumped. How come? Long story, watch my other videos. Or go to Organic Vegan Trainer, talk all about dairy. It covers it very clearly on all my channels. It covers what dairy is all about. Even though I had A2 protein, grass-fed protein, it's still better without it because it's so acidifying. Next thing, what are we doing about the fact that there's stress? How do we manage our stress? Our stress is not just our stress when we picked. It comes from what we inherited. I'm going to use the term original sin, but we inherit stuff. They know that high copper levels are inherited. They know that glyphosate can make it through the mother. They know that ancestral trauma is real. Ancestral trauma is real. And you have gifts that come from your ancestors. And you also have deficits that may come. Even trauma that may come again. And if that's a 10-hour video. I'm not going to discuss it here because it's one-on-one. Wow, the stuff exists. Look up ancestral trauma if you want to. Start your own work, but you better be strong for it because otherwise it'll be a burden. But it's okay to start investigating because that might be the thing holding you back. So if it clicks and you have an intuition and your intuition goes, hey, wait a minute, something about that sounds like I should check that out, and you're writing little notes down, this is what these videos are for. To trigger something, and you go, that sounds right. That guy's not crazy. Maybe I'll check this out. Other people, when they talk in public, and they should walk away if they can't take the heat, they walk away, and that's okay. Because I'm not here to entertain. I take an INTJ personality in much of what I do. ENF, ENTJ, ENTF, all kinds of things. I think I said the one right. Because they're functional personalities for getting outcomes and not just trying to make everybody comfortable. Making everybody comfortable doesn't make them grow much. The best teachers were not just giving you gold stars for showing up in class. They were the easy ones you took because you wanted to, which one of these, don't work hard on studying, you take 3 hard subjects and 2 easy ones so you weren't overburdened. That makes sense. In here, you're going to get a load. Your job is to get a load because that's your, again, fancy word, hormetic, that's your eustress, that's your productive stimulus. You need productive stimulus to grow, and you need to have the instrument that you can respond to productive stimulus. The fitter you are, the more you can just turn the corner and start sprinting. You see the kids that are really fit when they're 8 years old? They see it and they just jump out of the car and start sprinting. That's a fit kid. They go, I want to pull up, and they jump up and they whip out 12 reps. That's a fit kid. Relatively fearless, and the body works. The brain says, go, go. Are they the best athletes? Yeah, probably. Are they the best students all the time? Maybe not. The other person might go, I want to go study because that's their dominant chakra. You know what it looks like to have a dominant chakra because you see it expressed in everything. Since you were a child, you have dominant chakras. You have to build them all. So when you're looking at anything, I'm not going to ancestral trauma, I'm not going to other subjects, you have to know if your instrument is functioning. And if you don't know, find someone who can gauge your instrument and sense where you're out. People walk by, what do you do? I told people one thing, I do scalar wave personal training. I can sense where they're online and where they're off. I ask questions, I get more data. The more data I get, the more I can move forward and help them. And it might be a conversation the person needs more than a workout. They might, so I'm like, let's talk to you. Oh, you don't need anything, just go here and go there. Other people, you better get some help. You don't know what you're doing. I can give some people just advice they leave to go on. Other people, I'm like, you're going to have to be watched. You're not going to get there without it, in my experience, because I've got not only 51,000 one-on-one client hours, I've got 35 years in this business. That's a long time. I've trained people's children, and I've had the grandchildren in here of people I went to high school with. The grandchildren people I went to high school with are in my gym doing exercise. That is funny. That's a long time to look and feel good, be at the top of my game. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, 7% body fat. It's all good. And strong as heck. And wise. That's what makes my game work. If you can't develop those skills and develop that kind of a positive attitude and a can-do attitude, you're gonna not do well. And if you're not working on a de-aging program, an anti-aging program, what's the point of any gain you get? You said, I had this experience once, but I got older from it. Not a good experience. You don't want to be dead from your experiences, and you don't want to crash from your experiences. You want to grow from your experiences. You have to make your experience you can grow from. That's why I don't recommend marathoning much. You do one, okay, you did one, you survived it. You don't need 2 or 3. If you do 2, okay, now you survived that one. You don't need to keep doing things wrong to get better. You need to do things right to get better. You have an experience. We've all had bad experiences. That makes us human. Then we grow from those. And they go way back to they're probably suppressed. They're in our inventory somewhere, locked into our DNA perhaps, or locked into our cellular memory. Those things need to get into expression, get out, or get transmuted. I work with all that stuff too. It's a spiritual issue. It's an awareness issue. It's a consciousness issue. If you're not doing that kind of work, you are not moving forward very much. I think I've hit 15 minutes already. Last thing I want to talk about is if you are doing work, and I mentioned in my last video, a very short 6.5 minute video. I mentioned that last 6.5 minute video that I can sometimes feel like I am choosing unconsciousness. Why would that be? Even the client says to me, why would you, I don't get the video. I said, it's okay, you didn't get the video. Thanks for giving me information and good feedback. I'm not stressed about it. That's data. That's data I can use to clarify my point, make the video different, or just make a comment here. I can talk to that person one-on-one, you leave a comment, I leave a comment back. Oh, that clarifies things. The answer is, when I don't have the data, I have to muddle along. I have to muddle along like mud. It's through the eyes obliquely, through the lens obliquely, like the Bible says. Through the lens obliquely. You know, it's like a foggy lens. You can't see very clearly. When it's the crystal clear lens, you can see much better. The better the data coming in, the better. Just because you have data coming in doesn't mean it's accurate data. There was a video, I posted the other day, it says, oh yeah, people are funny, they're vegan, and it turns out bacon has more potassium. You can look this up, it's very popular online. Bacon has more potassium than kale. And I instantly know, well, of course, plants have more potassium. So I'll look it up on the internet to see how much more. I'll go back to comment. So I look it up, and it's 22 times as much potassium in an average banana as one slice of bacon. If you get 3 slices of bacon, which is an average serving, it's still going to be a lot less. It's going to be about 7 times as much potassium in a banana, one banana, as opposed to 3 slices of bacon. And all the time we go back to the page to make the comment is, I'd be saying, and they're arguing over whether veganism is right or whether the bacon eating is right. They're not arguing about the fact that the post was grossly inaccurate and was misleading people on purpose. Only one person did, and they had 2 comments like, not being a vegan person. And there were all these comments, and nobody wanted to say, good point. That was the truth. The person posted, I took my comment, put it up there, and I go, no, I'll take it down. Why? I don't need to be on a post with a bunch of unconscious people. If you're unconscious and you want to comment and attack me, you're going to get deleted. You're kicked out of my gym. I own my gym. I own my body. I own my company. You want to kick me out? I don't give a rat's ass. Because I hold high levels of information and high levels of things that get results, which I could argue are the truth, but I certainly know I'm getting results. I certainly know I'm getting a high level of results that are almost unheard of, because if I go to an anti-aging conference, and I'm the most fit person there, which is nice, 150 people, and I'm the only vegan there that I know, because nobody wanted to balance it, and then they're all getting mocked, or they're all mocking vegans, and yet I'm the fittest person there, and trust me, some people want to talk about it. I'm like, how is that possible? The presenters and the organizers were terrified. They did not want that, because their storyline is they're the ones who have the clothes. They're the emperors with the clothes on, and they live in the White Castle, and we should join them in the White Castle on the private island. They literally said we have a private island we want to go to and live in that private island. And I'm like, what the? How is that real? Live in a fantasy world? That's like Hollywood-esque crap. I don't want to join that club. That's a dangerous club, because they'll be delusional, and they'll think they're right, and they'll hack their way at what they think is health, and they'll take injections and stem cells and peptide therapies and hyperbaric chambers and not do the real work, which I noticed. They didn't do the real work. They didn't even have a hard conversation, which is just like a softball thing. You walk into a hardcore gym in Milwaukee, you're going to have real conversation with real big dudes, and they will look at you like, are you fucking nuts? Excuse me, but are you nuts? Because, at least for my generation, there was testosterone, and there was authentic heart and authentic mind as best they could be. And they looked at things. And especially guys in gyms who didn't want to drink too much, didn't want to ruin their bodies. And if they're followers of a high spiritual path, they said, thank you for being here. Fist bump, dude. You rock the world, and thank you for making my life better. And that's what I expect clients to do when they come in. I expect there to be a connection like that. If that's not your game, you can wander around. You can join the wrong club. Or you can do what I did. I joined the club to observe them. You can join anything. I can go on a page, and I do. Because observing what the other side is doing, and believe me, I've been on that side, I have deep knowledge, and I have deeper knowledge than they have. If they're animal followers, I was good at the animal diet. My friends were good. They were on stage with the animal diet. And then I'm like, what if I go off that? How young and how healthy will I get? And holy cow, they're like, how come you're winning? Because I stopped the diet. Guys, you can quit that. Oh, no. they intelligent. I just complimented them. They still didn't want to quit that animal diet because to them was terrifying. And when I mentioned in that 6.5 minute video, what I mentioned in that 6.5 minute videos, I was terrified myself to go vegan. Why? I kind of felt this isn't working not being vegan. That was clear. I was not getting that much better. It wasn't working. What have I not tried? I haven't tried full veganism since 2000. I tried for about a year. I didn't do it right. It's okay. I did okay. Oh, I was really uninflamed and mobile, and holy cow, could I move. Wow, could I move. And I could still step on stage. I guest posed at State Fair. I was a head judge, State Fair and Summerfest for many, many years. So I'm guest posing and head judging. And I look great. And I can move like, holy cow. They're like, I've never seen a posing routine like that from a guy, ever. It's true. Back in the day, especially in the year 2000. Actually, it was 1999 when I think about it. Was it 99? It was 2000. And what the point of that all is if I took that 6.5 minutes to talk about my fear, was my fear my pelvic floor? Not really. My fear was my knowledge in my left brain. I didn't know how to do it. That's the clarification. I did not know how to be successful as a vegan. That's why I took my time. I heard the spirits, in a sense, say to me, careful, go slow. Watch your microbiome. Watch your microbiome. Your protein, learn more about amino acids. All of them. Learn about all the deficits that you need to know, whether it's vitamin D or calcium or iron or whatever else there is to learn, B12, etc., etc. And make sure you have those in a plan, because the universe said, I don't want to lose you, Doug. I want to keep you. You're a great instrument. I could hear that conversation. And it said, go slow. Take your time. It's a loving universe. When you're really conscious, the universe loves you being on this plane. It's a plane. It's a playing field. It's also a place of, yes, liberty. It's a place of also some level of responsibility. Meaning it comes from consciousness. You've got freedom, but there's on this plane what's called common law. Do no harm. Do no harm is a big rule. Do you think you can live a long time doing harm to animals and deciding that they're there for you to use, like usury? Like, oh, I have more intelligence, more conscious. Well, can I then kill an unconscious person and eat them? Because I decide they're unconscious? I decide the whale's not as smart as me. I decide the dolphin's not as smart. I decide that this fish is stupid. I decide that this animal is just there. The Bible said so. You got to go back and read other sections. Like the Book of Enoch. What happened in the Book of Enoch? And the Apocrypha, which is the text they removed. Why would the Vatican remove text from the Bible? Again, when you're conscious, you will be guided spiritually and from your own intuition to check stuff out. Once the fluoride's gone from your body, and you got to rid all the toothpaste, my clients come in, get off the toothpaste, get off the